With us to talk more about the labor issues facing small and independent businesses across Canada is Ms. Corinne Pohlmann, Senior Vice President of National Affairs with CFIB. Ma'am, welcome to Forum Daily.
Thank you for having me.
Now, digging in a little deeper in the survey here, it's saying that almost 80% of businesses have changed the way they work due to the pandemic. So let's talk about this. How has the pandemic impacted operations for small and medium-sized businesses across Canada?
Well, as you can imagine, it has affected them quite significantly. Not only have many of them had to close for extended periods of time, and as a result, having to lay off a lot of employees in the process because they just couldn't afford to keep them. Others have had to pivot a little bit, go into new lines of business, perhaps add new services to what they actually already do, bringing in new digital platforms for online e-commerce, for example, doing delivery and curbside pickup. Certainly getting more involved in interacting with their clients in a different way rather than face-to-face. Maybe it's through other means. So there's been quite a bit of change happening. How much of that sticks around post-pandemic will be interesting to see, but definitely there's been quite a bit of change to many operations of many small businesses as well.
And more specifically, ma'am, what kind of challenges has the pandemic brought out for the labor force as well?
Well, obviously, at the first was a lot of people found themselves without a job. Many of those jobs have been brought back. However, not all of them have gone back. So that's been another challenge for a lot of small businesses because there's been sort of a shift in terms of, are people going to go back to the jobs they had before? Did they find something else in the meantime? Obviously, there is opportunities that are maybe a little bit different today than there would have been prior to the pandemic. So it really depends on the type of business. Certainly skills such as digital skills become more important if you're doing online e-commerce. A lot of small business owners don't really understand the platforms and need help to do that. So there are a number of different things, but there's still a lot of the traditional skills still needed out there too.
So we just mentioned digital skills. What are the other skills that businesses are looking for in future employees, ma'am?
Well, I think goes back to definitely digital skills is in there, but trades continue to be a high demand area for certain in construction and other related types of trades. But also it's still important for people to be adaptable, be problem solvers, be good communicators. And even just be enthusiastic about what you're doing. These are things that I think small business owners are looking for at this point in time. So it's still fairly broad in many different categories, but certainly there has been a shift a little bit more towards some of the digital, but definitely it's still important that you have those basic interpersonal skills as well.
All right, ma'am, we've got about 2 minutes left here, but considering that we're in the middle of a federal election, we're hearing a lot of talk about the economy and jobs. What is the CFIB hearing from its members as it relates to the labor force?
Well, basically today, it's a very interesting situation to be in because we're not necessarily back to full employment as we were. However, the shortage of labor also is something that's become a big deal in many parts of Canada right now. It's really hard to find people to fill the jobs. And it makes sense because so many people got laid off. They had to go find other work. They've decided to move on to other areas. Others may decide that they're not ready to go back to work. They may be still afraid, of course, of what's happening in the pandemic or have their own reasons why. So it's been a real challenge for a lot of small businesses who are really trying to get back on their feet to find the people that they need to really get their business back up and running. So that's probably the single biggest challenge a lot of them are facing right now.
All right, ma'am. So what is the solution here? What is the CFIB recommending the next federal government do to bring back jobs to Canada?
Well, essentially, we're looking for ways to help businesses hire. So costs of hiring are huge. So are there ways that we can help with those costs of hiring through training incentives, making sure that there is training happening for those new skills that are developing that are focused on small businesses as well will be important. And I say thirdly, it would probably be around immigration. What are we doing in the immigration system to make sure we're connecting new immigrants with the jobs that are available in Canada today? That's an important piece of this as well. So those are some of the key pieces we're looking for from all the parties.